Alright, welcome everyone to the third race of the season, Monaco into S Tier 2. My name is Vito, and today we don't have as big of a grid as we would have hoped for, as we only have 9 people, because a lot of people didn't bother showing up, or they just didn't bother, or they did the sign up and still didn't show up. And then of course the people that didn't even do the sign up. So unfortunately today we have a smaller grid, but that doesn't matter, the show still goes on. So I think the leading car is Legend in the Williams. Now of course Monaco, a very difficult race for the drivers. No margin for error whatsoever, excuse me. And Legend about to start his lap, so let's go on board with him for his first lap of Monaco and the first leading car. Going into turn 1, braking underneath the Monaco board. Keeps it clean, little bit of oversteer, keeps it straight. Now flying up the hill into Casino Square now. Touches the wall a little bit, keeps his wing alive. Of course going outside of the bump. Now into the hairpin. Nice and clean, doesn't drift through it. And now into the tunnel he goes. Braking just after the 100-meter board for the chicane. Cutting a lot of the curb, just barely not hitting the wall. Now flying towards the swimming pool chicane. A little bit of an oversteer moment there. Jumping the curb oversteer there again, and now into Rascas. Doesn't look like he locked up. And last corner he goes. Little bit of oversteer again, DRS open. And across the line it's gonna be a 109.3 as his banker. Behind him his teammate Bogdan goes just barely second. Further over the line goes Sahindis in the other, or in the Red Bull. And I think it's Suika going over the line as well. He's also on the mediums. He goes on the 113.7, so he took it safe. I forgot Legend is on a 108.3. Which I thought that was a 109.3. So his teammate is a second slower. And of course you have to remember that Legend is on the medium tire, whereas Hindis is on the soft tire. Let's have a look at, that's a Bayar that went into the wall up the hill. Or he just let someone go, I'm not quite sure. I think he just let someone go. Let's go on board with Joel, who's just coming out of the tunnel, braking for the chicane. And he invalidated, cuts the corner just a little bit too much. Very unfortunate. So Alexander also on an invalidated lap in the Mercedes. Not going very fast, but I think that's Bogdan who went for another lap. Or he's just starting another lap. Yes, he is. Flying up the hill he comes in his Williams. Of course drivers will be running max, if not, or what, close to max, if not max aero, supposed to say. Very high downforce around here. In the hairpin, the number 80 Williams. Now, I actually forgot the Monaco corner names, which is great preparation. I'm not so good with corners anyway. I noticed. Those drivers really like going so close to the wall. Out at the exit, of course flying full flat through the chicane. Here jumping the curb as much as possible. Now this looks like it's also going to be a pretty competitive time. Is he going to be able to beat his teammate though? That's the main question. As he's flying over the line, it's going to be a 108.2. So he does beat his teammate by less than 3/100ths of a second. Which is very impressive. Those two are so close together on pace. It's incredible. Is anyone else on the hot lap? I think Alexander might be on hot lap in the Mercedes. Black Mercedes flying into sector 2. Now into sector 3 he will be going. Jumping the curb. Keeps it clean. He actually hits the wall, so that unstabilized his car. And he drifts into the pit lane like a boss. Let's go on board with Joel, who is on his outlap currently. Joel in the Aston Martin. Now, this year's game has a weird bug when you go into the tunnel. For some reason your car becomes very bright for a short amount of time. And then it goes normal again. Which is, I haven't seen that before in any of the other F1 games. But here is Joe about to start his hot lap in the green Mercedes. And Larson has joined. So we have 10 drivers now. So Larson, Joel's teammate I think that is, has joined. But the other Aston Martin is gonna be on track soon. Is Joel gonna improve in sector 1? Actually, he hasn't set a time yet, excuse me. Joel on his first real-timed lap. That's not invalidated. And hopefully he's gonna keep it like that. I hope I didn't jinx him. Flying through the tunnel, coming out now. Invalidates the chicane. No, he doesn't. He keeps it clean through the chicane. Didn't maximize it. Didn't try to go over the limit. Just kept it clean. I think he touched the wall a little bit there. That doesn't matter as long as I didn't lose him time. Or break his wing. It's fine. Raska's Legend standing still, letting the Aston Martin go. And a little bit of oversteer there, but keeps it clean. What kind of time is it going to be for the McLaren there? It's going to be P3 for 108.5. So now let's switch back to Legend, who's out on the mediums again. Gonna try to improve his time, as he gets blocked by the Aston Martin, who was stuck behind Suika in the Alfa Romeo. Very unfortunate for Legend there, who was not able to do his hot lap. But now Sahindis is going into sector 3. Invalidates the time in the swimming pool chicane. That's a very unfortunate spot to invalidate. All the way towards the end of the lap. It's suboptimal. But it's okay, because he is starting his new lap right now. Where's the Red Bull? The Hindis. Going up the hill. It's incredible how quick this track is for how little margin there is for mistakes. First, all the drivers not going straight over the bump, they're going around it just a little bit, because it saved them some time. Now the hairpin keeps it clean, doesn't try to lock his rear brakes like some of the esports drivers do on their qualifying laps. And there's a Mercedes standing still. That's Alexander. He might have touched his rear wheel against the inside of the barrier, which is a very unfortunate mistake if that was what it is, or what I think it is. As Bogdan retired, let's go on board with his teammate and see what happens. Oh, he went into the wall outside of the casino square there. Very unfortunate for him, so he won't be able to improve the session in Sahindis. He stays before with a 109.0 on the soft tire compound. Now Larson is still in the pits, he just joined. Let's go on board with Molly, who's in the Alpha Tauri. I think he just started his hot lap, which is very fortunate for us. He's now going towards the casino square. Sliding a little bit, I think he might abandon this lap, and that is what he did. A little bit too much of a mistake to keep going. So now Suika in the Alfa Romeo, flying towards the finish line, currently on 113.7. Is he gonna improve? He's gonna go 111.3. So improve by 2 seconds, but he's still 2 seconds off. And Legend currently goes pole 9,000ths of a second quicker than his teammate. 9 thousandths of a second. That's really, really close. Now Alexander going towards the line. What is he gonna do? Hasn't set a valid time yet. He does now with a 108.5 on the soft tire compound. Currently puts in P4, jumping Sahindis in the Red Bull. And where is Mali? Mali is about to start his first timed lap on the medium tire compound. So he is flying towards turn 1, keeps it clean. Actually he doesn't, he hits the wall. I wonder if that gave him damage. Let's hope it didn't. It looks like he's continuing, so let's assume he doesn't have any damage. In Casino Square, does he slide this time again? No, he doesn't, keeps it clean. Goes around the bump, braking at the white, or at the brighter mark on the left on the barrier. And now into the hairpin. Now accelerating as hard as he can in the tunnel. Now the sun hits you when you come out. Braking just after 100. Try not to hit that inside barrier. Goes over the curb, cuts it very nicely. Little bit of oversteer, but short shifts to prevent any more. And he overcooks it in the turn before the chicane, but he looks like he is continuing. So maybe not too much damage. Although it was definitely a nice crack, and he pulls into the pit lane, so he doesn't finish his lap. And Joel is currently on a hot lap. His front tires are absolutely cooking, as they're 117 on the left front for a second. And he invalidates in the chicane. So he tried to cut it too much, took the risk, and had to pay for it. So the next car that's gonna start their hot lap is Bayarn in the McLaren. Currently in P6, decided to put on fresh medium tires, currently on a 109.7. Let's see if he'll be able to improve it, as Legend just slapped on the soft tire compound. So Legend will definitely be on for a pole position lap on those softs, as he is already 3/10 quicker than Joel, who's currently in P3, on a harder tire compound. So we are now going into the hairpin. It's incredible how these cars that are long as a limousine can go through that hairpin no problem. I believe in real life they actually add steering angle for Monaco specifically to make the cars go through the hairpin. And Bayarn cutting the track a lot there. So that's a big mistake from him. So he will have to do another lap on these tires. Which is suboptimal, you would say. Legend now in the swimming pool. Everyone is on a out lap. So Bayarn is the first one to be starting a lap. He did a 110.2, which would have currently not put him up higher, as it's 4/10 slower than his time, and he already abandoned this lap, meaning he might have tapped the wall and gotten a little bit of damage there. But now what's the most interesting part is Legend, who is on the soft tire, currently Paul, decided to go for the softs instead of the mediums. Maybe he feels confident, more confident on the softs, because he doesn't feel confident that he can keep pole position compared to the other drivers on those mediums. Or he might pull into the pit lane at the end of this lap just to see how much he can improve. I wasn't looking at the tier 1 split or at the sector 1 split when he drove past there, so I don't know how much he is up. But the Williams driver is definitely up by quite a margin on his time. 79. Williams flying towards sector 3, and he is almost 5/10 up. So this is gonna be a very quick time, and he hits the wall again, so he abandons the lap. And behind him, I think that is Dragon, who just came out for the first time out of the pit lane. Alexander just went fast as 102 or 108.2. So there it is. There goes Legend's pull. Legend's pulling into the pit lane. But of course you have to remember Legend is on a different tire compound. And Bayern retiring in the pit lane didn't improve in the end. So now Dragon in the other Red Bull is flying in the Casino Square. Again going around the bump. Doesn't do a Rosberg, which is a good start. Now there's a Mercedes in front of him, but that shouldn't be a problem, as that is current pole sitter Alexander. A little bit of a slide there. Keeps it calm though. Pushing through the tunnel. There was current pole sitter Alexander, letting him go very nicely. Now sector 3 split is a 51.0, and there was a car standing still. That was crashed out Larson. So that definitely messed with Dragon's lap as he invalidated and pulls back into the pit lane. So when I wasn't looking, Larson crashed in the swimming pool chicane. That's something definitely don't want to happen now. Larson's teammate, the other Aston Martin, Joel, is about to finish his lap. Last lap, that is. Or is he about to start one? I can't tell. The timer is over for me, but that might be a bug. As he's just starting his hot lap, right. So Joel just starting his hot lap. His last one. So he could just pull into the pits. So Joel will be pushing as hard as he possibly can, as he is not up on his time. Or well, he is up on his time, but just barely. Only 36 thousandths of a second, which really isn't a lot. He can still improve by quite some time and possibly jump Bogdan. He needs 3/10 to jump Bogdan for P3. Mali retired. Mali retired, and there goes Joel. Joel too quick on the power, spinning on the exit of the chicane. And Mali crashed in Raskas, which is a interesting spot to crash. Now let's look away from that tomfoolery, as Tahindis is on his way on his hot lap. Go nicely through the chicane, going into sector 3 right now. And he is just down on his time, half a tenth. As it looks like he is on a pad. So a very difficult track this is for a pad. And here he is, currently on a 109.0. What is it gonna be? It doesn't improve. He lost a tenth. A little bit more than a tenth in the last sector. So this is qualifying. Alexander in the Mercedes taking pole with Legend P2 on a medium tire set, which is a very, very good strategy around here. The other Williams of Bogdan currently in P3, with Joel on P4 in the Aston Martin. So Hindi is in P5 in the Red Bull. P6 goes to Mali, P7 goes to Bayern. Suika is 8th, Larson is 9th, and Dragon will be starting 10th. Alright, and now we're just waiting for the drivers to select their strategy, select their tire set, see if it might be raining towards the end of the race, maybe. Would definitely spice it up just a little bit. And we'll be starting in 27 seconds. Of course, the Monaco pit lane, very compact, 60km/h speed limit. No smoking, as we can see by the sign on the left, just in front of the Mercedes garage. And the people sitting in the swimming pool chicane can actually see into the pit lane, which sits higher than the swimming pool chicane. Alright, and we are on board with our pole sitter Alexander, who is just pulling away on a hot lap and gets overtaken by Bogdan almost instantly as Bogdan ghosted through him. So Bogdan, the driver who wants to win the formation lap, as he lets go, lets Alexander go again. Drops back down to the 2 currently on the grid, which doesn't matter in this game. It really doesn't do anything. You can race each other on the formation lap and the game doesn't say anything about it. Unless you touch. If you touch, you get reset back. But there isn't really any other rules in the formation lap. You can't take damage. You can, of course, mess your tires up because you need to warm them up. But if you spin, they can be done pretty quickly. So let's have a look at what tire everyone chose today driving. So let's go on tire. So Alex will be starting on the softs. Both the Willies are going on mediums. Then Joel and Sahindis are going on softs. Mali on mediums. Bayarn and Suika on softs. And Larsen and Dragon on mediums. So those are our strategy starts for this race, as all the drivers are currently lining up on the grid. Alexander in the slot. We're just waiting for the last cars to roll up on the grid. Of course, we only have half the grid for today. And the last cars are on the grid, so let's switch back to Alexander with 1 light, 2 lights, 3 lights, 4 lights, 5 lights. And away we go. It looks like Alex got a good start, but so did Joel. And already Sahindis is up into P3, jumping Legend on the start. So Bogdan is currently in P2. As Bogdan and Legend are going side by side and they touch. And Sahindis almost losing it. It looks like they are good though. I don't know, Legend might have a little bit of a look down in Mirabeau. I believe this is Mirabeau. So Legend really wants to get that spot. That might have been a warning for him just then as well, as he went a little bit too much on that curb. And Mali dropped all the way down to P10, so he might have an issue. His wing looks fine, so he might have been spun around. Let's go back where Bayarn is really on the gearbox of Joel. They're going into the swimming pool, and Joel went really slow for there, so Joel might have an issue. He might have a broken wing or some form of another issue, as he is going quite slow. Doesn't lock up his wheels, and he pulls into pit lane, so it looks like he will be changing his wing. Let's have a look if he will be changing his wing. He is, and he's going to the medium tire. So now Sahindis and Legend are still fighting for the podium positions. And we already have a few little packs dividing the field. And Legend made the move, a little bit of a dive down the inside of Sahindis, and he has passed. So the Williamses are currently in P2 and P3 with the Red Bulls in P4 and P5. Something you don't see every day. So Suika in the back of Larsen. It looks like Larsen is pushing quite hard, and now Bogdan is actually out of the DRS and he's now back into the DRS of Alexander. So these two are just fighting for who can stay in the DRS as longest. Looks like they both made a little bit of a mistake, but Bogdan gained 2 tenths out of that, which is very fortunate for him. Alexander on the soft tire should technically be able to pull quite a big of a gap. As Bogdan goes fastest lap with 110.7.8, excuse me, and now Legend beats out with a 110.6. So Legend currently with the fastest lap. And there's a yellow flag. That was Joel that spun around, and he needs to change his wing again. So Joel changed 2 wings in the span of 2 laps, which is a suboptimal one. I think we might see a retirement here. It doesn't look like it. Doesn't look like we have a retirement. So Joel, keeping his head down, still continuing to push, doesn't give up even after 2 crashes and 2 laps. Still he will rise, boys. Still he will rise. So now Legend chasing his teammate down, and so is Dragon. Dragon is also charging to the front, all the way from the back, currently in P5. So he jumped half the field already, and he's trying to have a look on his teammate of Sahindis. As Bayarn already gets a 3-second time penalty for track limits. And Bogdan goes fastest with a 110.5, and Legend beats that with a 110.4. Now DRS is enabled, of course. So Dragon had a little bit of the DRS, and now going up the hill, he's not using his overtake. He is just using the slipstream of his teammate. Doesn't look like he's trying to overtake him here, which is a very difficult spot. This track is already difficult to overtake. And here is one of the spots where you can give it a try. Dragon looks, but decides not to go for it. Very risky strategy that is to make a move there. Of course, Dragon is on the slower tire component. Sahindis loses the rear end a little bit, but keeps it going. Sahindis on the soft tire, where Dragon is on the medium, so Dragon will have a little bit of that advantage in terms of tire temperatures compared to Sahindis. And Dragon makes the move in the chicane, and he is in front of his teammate. So Dragon going down the inside of his teammate into the chicane, currently up into P4. Let's go back to Bogdan. Let's see if Bogdan will be able to make this overtake. Doesn't look like it. Alexander got a better launch. Bogdan, of course, staying with him due to the DRS. But now Larsen is going to have a look at Bayarn. Larsen, of course, on the medium tire compound. Bayarn already having 3-second time penalty, and so does Dragon. So Dragon also got a 3-second time penalty for track limits. Now this will be quite an unfortunate race for those that are a little bit slower than the leading pack, as the gaps are quite large already. And there's a sector 3 yellow flag. Don't tell me that's Joel again. It is Joel again. Joel spinning again in the chicane, so Joel ruining his wing for the 3rd time. I think that the Aston Martin team might run out of wings soon, as Joel retires. So he had damage that couldn't be fixed anymore, and there is an invisible front wing there, as we could see by the shadow. 10 out of 10 game code masters, you love to see it. So we only have 9 drivers left in this Grand Prix. With only a... yes. I bet everyone agrees with me. With only 9 drivers left. With quite big gaps, unfortunately. As Bayarn is the first one to make his pit stop. Oh, he also had a front wing. So it isn't a strategy pit stop, it's a front wing pit stop. So he drops down to 9th. As Alexander is still leading, and Legend actually caught up to his teammate. So the 2 Willies are currently in P2 and 3, close behind Alex in the Mercedes. As Legend goes drifting through the swimming pool chicane. The Legend driving Formula Drift instead of Formula 1 today. It's very unfortunate to see so little people on one of the best races of the calendar. With only 9 drivers, it's very unfortunate. Is that Bogdan trying to set up a move? I think he was having a little look, but he didn't go for it, as he's really close on Alexander now. And there's a Sector 2 yellow flag. I think that might be Dragon. Dragon spun in the chicane. Doesn't have any damage by the looks of it, but then again, spectator mode is a little bit messed up, so it doesn't always show the full damage. Let's see, Bogdan is really close on Alexander here. They both are pretty low in ERS. Of course, Bogdan does have DRS. As they're flying up the hill. Let's see, let's go on board with Bogdan, because Legend is just a little bit behind. Will Bogdan try to set up a move as Bayar now? Oh, and Alexander going into the wall. Alexander losing it at the exit of the casino square. So Alexander now, does he have any wing damage? I can't see any, so let's just assume that he doesn't have any wing damage. But that was really, really close to disaster for the Mercedes and maybe even a Williams. And Alexander, I think those softs are starting to come to the end of their life. So both the Willies are gonna be able to fly past very shortly. And Dragon also, or not Dragon, excuse me, Bogdan also performing just a wee bit of tomfoolery, drifting through the corner. As that's Dragon who crashed in the swimming pool chicane. Guys, be careful through there, please, no crashes. And Molly had a little bit of an incident there from what it looks like. And that's, I don't know how that isn't a safety car, but let's just go with it. I really don't know how that isn't a safety car. That's very interesting from the game. Now we can see that Bogdan is actually really close in the corners, but on the straights, he just isn't getting close enough by the looks of it. You can see Alexander is just pulling that little bit of more kilometers an hour. Of course, that might be due to the exits, but it might be that Bogdan is, for example, running more downforce than Alexander. And Alexander made a little bit of a mistake, but Bogdan stays smart, doesn't go for it because he knows it's very difficult for two cars to go side by side through there. Now down, or upshifting, excuse me, up to 5th, using DRS, using ERS. And they're going side by side. Oh, and they crashed! They both crashed! The Williams and the Mercedes crashed, both damaging their wing. And Legend is flying through into the lead. So Hindy's making his pit stop. I think there was no front wing change, but that's good for him. But now the Williams and the Mercedes will both have to change their wing from an attempted overtake from Bogdan, causing them both to go straight in turn 1. A very big drama for these two. The Hindis came out in P6 on fresh mediums. Now I don't actually know how long mediums can last, because I don't really play the F1 game that much myself. So I think it might be a soft medium if they have max pressures. If they don't have max pressures, then maybe a soft hard. Or medium medium soft, that's also a possibility. Yeah, Dragon, we shall not talk about that. It wasn't on camera, so it didn't happen, right? And now, of course, the Williams and the Mercedes both pitting. The Mercedes is choosing fresh mediums, but what is Bogdan choosing? He's also choosing fresh mediums. So they're both going on the same tire compound. Let's see who will come out in front. I think that's Bogdan gonna come out in front. It is. So technically Bogdan did make the move. Although it was in a... not the way you want it to happen. So now Legend is actually on a 17.6 second gap to P2. Who's Larson? Larson, who of course had the incident at the start. Was that Larson? No, that was Joe, excuse me. So Larson just kept it clean. It looks like he doesn't have any helmet on. And he doesn't. 10 out of 10 game. He's just driving in this balaclava. My guy went... helmets? Nah, CBA. I'm just driving my balaclava. Oh, this game is so full of glitches, it's kind of depressing in a sort of way. Sector 3, yellow flag, that's Mali retiring. Let's go on board with the Hindis and see what happened. Also another retirement in the swimming pool. So we only have 7 people left. And oh, that's very dangerous right there. How is that not a safety car? How in God's name is that not a safety car? He's in such a dangerous position, it's incredible. A safety car would be one of the best things possible here. Because it would bunch up the grid by so much. Let's have a look at actually the gaps between not each other but to the leader. So Suika is a minute behind the leader. He's about to get lapped as he's pulling into the pit lane. So Suika is gonna get lapped after this. Which is something you don't want to see as we will only have 7 people left, so it's something you really don't want to happen, something you don't want to see. So Hindi's made a little bit of a mistake there going deep. Now Bogdan is having a little bit of a look, trying to maybe mind punt Sahindis, but Sahindis doesn't fall for it. Keeps going. Bayarn now on 9 seconds of penalty, so Bayarn really stacking up those penalties. Now let's see. Legend is leading by 20 seconds, which is incredible, but his teammate is 33 seconds behind him. Bogdan didn't make the move into turn 1. Well, he tried to make a move here. No, he doesn't. He loses control, but he keeps the car going. He catches the slide. Almost went into the wall. Almost did the same thing that Alexander did a couple of laps ago. Who is currently behind him. So Sahindis is going quicker. He might be boosting to prevent Bogdan from overtaking him. Now Bogdan carrying significantly more speed into that chicane. Keeps it safe here though. Oh, and there was a bonk. Sahindis bonking the wall in the swim pool chicane. I don't think that gave him any damage. I didn't see any bits of carbon fiber flying. So it looks like he is still good. Let's change the gap back to the interval. As we actually have a freeway battle here, which is something we actually do want to see, is battles on Monaco. And not 22 seconds, 22 or 46 second gaps. Where's the slowest car? I think this is the slowest track on the calendar, isn't it? Oh, and there's Suika. Suika went into the wall. He spun himself around, so he touched the inside orange barrier when going into the chicane. So he has been lapped by Larson now. Which is very unfortunate for him. Let's see, where will Bogdan... I think Sahindis bonked the wall again. I think that might have been a little bit of a touch to the wall. From Sahindis there. Now DRS on. Overtake button on. Will it be good enough? He has a little bit of a look. Doesn't go for it though. Oh, and he loses control again. This might be an opportunity for Alexander. And they go into the wall again. They touch. And Alexander does end up in front, but it looked to me as Alexander was trying to go for a gap that just wasn't there. It definitely is going to be fun after the race. As Bayern is now making his pit stop for the medium tire compound. So is that Bogdan that has front wing damage, as he's going significantly slower? Let's have a look. Suika now being lapped by these cars as well. Blue flags. And I think that's Bayern going into the wall. He's reset the track. Monka S. But that's Alexander pulling into the pits, front wing change, and so is Bogdan. So 2 times these two have had contact, and 2 times it ended up in tears. Which is something you don't want to see. It's very unfortunate that these two had contact, as they're almost being lapped by Legend, who is coming into Raskas now. Legend, the leader, pulled a 6-second gap to Larson since the last time we were talking about it. He's just in the race of his own. He's just cruising. There isn't really anything else going on anymore, so let's go have a look at Suikam, as he didn't get much camera time. Number 39 Alfa Romeo. Very pretty car, this Alfa Romeo, but I'm gonna be honest, I like it more on the livery that they have now at Monza with a little bit of green. It just looks a little bit better in my opinion. It fills out the blank spot at the top of the car. As that's Bayern in the pits again, changing his wing, going for the hards, and he isn't going. Is his clutch stuck? Right now he went. Suika in the Alfa Romeo on the medium tires, trying to still make the best of it that he can. I wonder what happened to Bayern actually in the pit lane there. As I think that's Bogdan again for a front wing change. Again going to the mediums. Excuse me. So yeah, Bogdan went from the great position that he was in before, P3, all the way down to P5. With how much time lost to the leader? Let me actually have a look. He is a lap down. So he is a lap down on his teammate of Legend. Which is, again, very unfortunate for him, as he's not in fight for the win anymore. And Legend now gets a 3-second time penalty, which literally does nothing to him, because the closest car behind him is 28 seconds behind. And there's literally no cars that are close to each other. Bayern now getting a 5-second time penalty as he retires in the pit lane. So we only have 6 cars left in this race. I really don't know what I'm supposed to be talking about here, as there's really not much happening this race. There really isn't much happening. It's the closest gap from one car to the other is 4.5 seconds, which is from Sehindis to Larson. And with those two, there probably won't be an on-track overtake anyway, because the top 2 are nearing their pit stop window pretty soon. Although Sehindis is gaining a lot, and there's sector 3 yellow flag. That is Alexander Jew retiring from the session. Let's go on board with Bogdan, see what happens. So we only have 5 cars left. That's suboptimal. Alexander just went straight in the chicane, or he touched the inside. Like Max Verstappen did in 2018, I think that was. Very, very unfortunate. And Bogdan almost losing it there as well. This is really, well, it's a 5-car race, isn't it? And we still have we're still not even halfway. We're just past halfway, as Bogdan goes fastest with 110 dead. It's very unfortunate that we have to drive with 5 people. Let's go back to Sahindis, who's only 3 seconds behind Larsen now. So we can now finally overtaking the broken car of Alexander. As there is Larsen up in front of Sahindis, so Sahindis is making a lot of ground on the Aston Martin. So the Red Bull should be within striking distance within about 2 to 3 laps, I would say. As he is gaining about, I think about a second a lap. Which is quite a lot, Formula 1. As Bogdan gets a 3-second time penalty. Again, not like it matters, because the next car behind him is 40 seconds. So Sahindis now onto the main straight. He's really playing with that oversteer a lot. I wonder if that's a setup, if that's how it's supposed to be, or if his tires are cooking that much, which doesn't look like it. I think his tires are about 90 degrees from what I can see on his steering wheel. So again, the Red Bull gaining a little bit of time in Sector 1. But I think Sector 2 and 3 is where he gains the most. There it is, he just gained half a second. Or at least it looked like it for a second. It's hard to see when there's so many super slow corners close to each other. He gained about 3/10 in that little section there. So Hindis did. And there's Larsen spun. Larsen touched the inside barrier with his rear wheel. So Larsen, the headless rider, or the helmetless rider, is has spun after 20 laps of driving without any mistakes. He is spun. But he is continuing. He's still continuing. Not planning to box anytime soon, I don't think. I think he'll still do maybe 5 laps more on these tires. And yeah, then we'll see how the strategies will go. Oh my god. The gaps are just 5 cars and then such big gaps. It's more of a free practice session than a race. I really don't know what I should be talking about, to be honest, because there's really nothing happening. And I don't know why Legend is pushing that hard, as he's just driving 34 seconds ahead. After his, I guess, closest rival had spun. How many penalties does Bogdan actually have? Does he only have 3 seconds, or does he have more? He has 6 seconds and Legend has 3. And Legend is coming in for his first pit stops. First pit stop, actually. Going onto the soft tire compound. And still come out in front. He's still leading from Sahindis by quite some time. It's less than it was, because he lost 20 seconds due to the pit stop, of course. But he is still leading by 15 seconds, and that gap will just start growing. As Larsen is also now in the pits on the soft tire compound. Of course, Hindi is on all the mediums, so Legend will probably gain more than a second a lap this stint. Because the softs are really quick around here. I think that's Bogdan who's about to lap Suika. Oh yeah, I forgot I have my wheel plugged in. No, my headset just died. For heck's sake, hold on. I ran out of battery as Legend goes fastest with a 108.5. I hope you guys can still hear the stream. I just have to plug in my headset. So I will have no audio for like the coming 2 minutes because my headset needs to charge at least a little bit to keep it alive. Well, I guess you could call the stream a minuscule amount of tomfoolery. And I have my sound back again. So, as we have nothing to talk about in F1, let's talk about ACC, shall we? As Hindy's got a 3-second time penalty, which really won't matter once again. ACC. Yeah, we have a GT3 series on Mondays at 19:30 CEST. So if you're interested in joining that, remember, you have a ACC division here in 2S. We're currently on a break and we're gonna be starting Season 7 very shortly. Actually, let me have a little spy and see when the first race is. We will have a pre-season on the 20th of September. And then the season will be starting at the season opener in Kyalami on the 27th of September. Of course, we have two different type of races. We have 1 hour sprint races, and then we have weekends where we do 2 races. One is 20 minutes and the other is half an hour. Of course, both the races have a qualifying session before that, which is, I believe, 20 minutes? No, it might be 15 minutes. Excuse me. So, yeah, if you're interested in ACC, we have a thing. Let's hope Tier 1 won't be like this tomorrow. Of course, I'm not driving in Tier 1 anymore myself, as I chose to retire. Give my seat to someone else. I'm just personally not attracted to this game that much anymore. It's really unfortunate because the driving is good, but the all the other bugs and stuff around it is just, it's kinda destroying the fun factor of the game for me. Only 5 cars left. I haven't seen this in a very, very long time. Since we only have 9 laps left, thankfully. So let's make this tomfoolery end quickly as possible. It's also interesting that we only have 2 drivers. Now I know this is kinda dumb to say because we only have 5 in total, but only 2 drivers that don't have penalties and the rest do. As Suika's letting Sahindis go past on the blue flag conditions. Suika and Larson are the only ones without a penalty. Now I wonder if Sahindis will try to pull it to the end on those mediums. I wonder if it's possible. Might be close. And will Larson catch him in time? If he does decide to stay out. I don't know why my game tabbed out then, but that was weird. Alright, we will be approaching our last lap soon. Legend boxed for fresh mediums. Or fresh softs, excuse me. So you'll try to go for another fastest hot lap. So let's go on board with him and have a look in a second real quick. Even after a pit stop, he got a 28-second gap, which is ridiculous. So Bogdan also boxing for medium, Suika 2 laps down. Shout out to him for actually finishing the race, even though he's 2 laps down. As Legend will be going into the last lap right now, with his teammate coming out of the pits. Of course, ghosting is on, so you can just go through him. Let's see if he will be up on the Sector 1 split. I don't have it off, but he is definitely, because of the purple Sector 1 that you can see on the minimap. And also Sector 2 is purple. And he is gonna come over the last corner right now. DRS not available. And overtake button goes to 108.082 on his last lap. And he is the winner today. Sahindis is gonna go P2. Bogdan in P4 finishes the race as well. Now we're waiting for Sahindis, who is in Sector 3 right now. Doing pushchain, just vibing. And I don't think we'll do interviews today, as I don't think it's necessary with 5 people. So once everyone gets over the line, I'm just gonna show the podium, show the finish, show the ending stuff, and then we show on the stream. And Larsen ran out of fuel just before the line. He's stopping, and he went over the line. Now Suika coming through the last corner right now. 39, number 39 car on lap 39, finishing the race. There he is. So, ladies and gentlemen, our winner, Legend, with Larsen being driver of the day. So there's our race winner, Legend, in the Williams, winning today's race in Monaco. And there is the champagne, which doesn't actually come out of the bottles. 10 out of 10. See, no alcohol, so they're spraying air. So there it is, ladies and gentlemen. GG to everyone that came, GG to everyone that stayed. I'm just gonna go through the race director, and then we can end the stream. So thank you everyone for watching. Have a great rest of your weekend and evening, and hope to see you guys back tomorrow for Tier 1, so hopefully have a little bit more of attendance. So good night everyone.